13 minutes to 9, exactly 10 years ago, we were glued to events in Chile. The world held its breath, hoping for the rescue of 33 miners trapped underground. They spent 69 days below the surface before being winched to safety, one by one, in a capsule shaped like a rocket. At the time, we spoke to Andrew Watson, a consultant from MRS Training and Rescue, and he's back with us now. Hello, Andrew.
Good morning.
I'm kind of shocked that it was 10 years ago that the rescue began, but what do you remember about that?
I think it was the fact that it captured the whole world. Everybody was watching this, and I think it's a very emotive subject, people trapped in the underground environment in that confined space. And from what seemed a very, very difficult rescue to get right through and watch the whole thing played out in front of you, I can remember sitting as they came out of that capsule one at a time, 33 times we watched that. Just a fantastic end to that. But I also think we should always remember that this was an accident that was caused, that if we started right at the beginning, they should never have been trapped in the first place. But leading on to the actual rescue, what a success story.
Yeah, it was truly remarkable that they made it out alive, wasn't it?
It was, and if you break that down to the time it actually took and the methodology, both of which was fantastic achievements, never been done before, never been done in the time scale before, and just a huge, huge success for everybody.
Well, just remind us what actually happened here in terms of how they managed to drill down and create this second tunnel to then bring them out.
There's an element of luck in the way this started, and you have to remember that the miners were in there for 17 days before they actually got proof that they were actually alive and safe. And that was basically a message tied to the end of a drill bit, which by luck landed where the miners were. And once that whole thing started, and I mean, I'm on record as saying at the time that the timeline they come out to actually get the boreholes in, I actually said at the time that it would be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to achieve that. But they actually did it. And to get the actual borehole down, to get water in, to get air in, to get food in, and then start to develop the actual borehole that was going to eventually be rescued through. And I mean, that had been done on a smaller scale previously, but it had never been done at the depth we're talking about here. And they were starting from nothing. They didn't even have the contact phone numbers and who had the machinery to do all of this and to get all of that organised and done in the timescale they had. And the last bit of that, I mean, people in the mining industry have been rescued through boreholes before, but never at this sort of depth. And to develop the capsule within that time and take the risk to use that. I mean, if you think about it, once they had the borehole created, everything in place, and an untested capsule going in, if that had stopped halfway down, hadn't been able to get pulled back up, if it had damaged the borehole, it was just fantastic amount of planning went into that.
Do you know whether these lessons have been learned in terms of safety standards, particularly in South American mines?
I think definitely. I mean, I myself have been out in South America, not Chile itself, but in the area, and having met some of the people that work in the industry. And I have to say, I have never seen such dedication and willingness from the people that's out there. I mean, sometimes I could criticise them for taking too much of a risk in some of the things they do, but the willingness to go and carry out rescues is just exceptional. The work rate of these is just fantastic, and I think that was reflected in Chile. But the time scale it took to actually get the rescue completed, and that's just a reflection on the people themselves, but it's also a reflection on the mining sector as a whole to solve a problem.
Andrew, thank you very much for speaking to us once again. Andrew Watson there of MRS Training and Rescue. 10 years ago. Wow.
I can't believe it. It doesn't seem like that length of time at all.